This 2012 documentary nearly dropped my jaw. You would never guess how powerful a wild dog with diplomatic skills can be. Its name is Solo. Originally the noble young leader of a wild dog clan, Solo was forced to become a homeless stray after its family was wiped out by a lion pride. But with exceptional diplomatic talents, it continuously recruited allies across the grasslands. A noble hyena princess met it and instantly became a fan. A cunning jackal saw it and wagged its tail like a motor. In just 1 month, Solo transformed from a homeless dog into the CEO of a cross-species alliance. Its life is even more exciting than a thrilling novel. Solo's childhood was quite happy. Born into a large family in the Okavango Delta with up to 40 wild dog members, Solo's mother was the supreme leader of the clan. The strong family background made them almost the overlords of the territory. Although individual strength wasn't remarkable, the wild dog army moved in unison, creating a shocking scene. They fought in an orderly manner, cooperated tacitly, and could easily hunt large animals like antelopes and wildebeests. Even the ferocious hyenas had to behave themselves in their presence. That year, the family welcomed 10 adorable pups, and the most mischievous among them was young Solo. When it was just a 1-month-old puppy, it already charged around the territory recklessly. As the clan's little princess, Solo was doted upon, and the wild dog family was very united. All nursing wild dog mothers would jointly care for the pups. At this time, greedy little Solo would go door to door asking for milk. To ensure the pups grew up healthy, the family provided them with a safe shelter. The abandoned termite mound became the pups' ideal castle. From a young age, Solo's leadership qualities began to emerge. Although not old, it was particularly bold, often sneaking out of the castle to explore. The little fellow was full of curiosity about everything, and there were many delicious neighbors living around the castle. Solo loved to chase and play with the neighbors, and its actions inspired other pups who eagerly joined Solo's adventure team. From this moment, Solo established its leadership position. Time flew, and the pups were already 2 months old, reaching the age to be weaned. Every evening became the moment the little ones looked forward to most, as the foraging adults would return with food. Adult wild dogs possess a remarkable food storage ability. They first bite and swallow food, then transport it back from kilometers away, and regurgitate it to feed the pups, a clean and hygienic method known as rumination. At this time, the little wild dogs often had to engage in tug-of-war battles to grab food. Solo, relying on its strength, seized a large piece of meat, happily running aside to enjoy its spoils. However, it found the meat too large to chew. At this moment, the attentive father dog appeared, helping Solo bite the meat into smaller pieces. After eating their fill, the entire family began their rest time. To reduce heat loss, adult wild dogs huddled together by family units for warmth, while the little ones formed a small kindergarten by squeezing together. This was perhaps their happiest time. As time passed, the little ones grew up healthily. Solo was full of spirit, anticipating the day it would become an excellent hunter like its mother. However, unforeseen events occurred. Just as Solo was about to reach adulthood, a terrifying nightmare completely changed its life. A powerful lion pride of 30 lions suddenly invaded Solo's family's territory. In the battle for territory, the lion pride launched a frenzied chase against the wild dogs. Solo's parents died in battle, and the entire wild dog family was nearly slaughtered. Perhaps fate spared Solo, as it and 2 companions managed to escape, leaving only 3 survivors in the family, relying on each other for survival. However, not long after, the last 2 companions mysteriously disappeared. In just a few months, Solo lost everything, transforming from a noble young leader to a homeless stray dog. Solo continued to emit mournful cries under the setting sun. Now, surrounded by formidable enemies, there was no place left for it to call home. As wild dogs are highly dependent on pack living, losing the protection of its clan was tantamount to a death sentence. Solo was likely the last wild dog on this land, destined for a future of endless solitude. However, even with such a dire beginning, Solo did not succumb to despair. Determined and confident, it was a natural optimist. Since fate had spared its life, Solo felt it must undertake the mission of reviving its family. What happened next would completely change Solo's life. One day, Solo encountered an unexpected guest, a young hyena blocking its path. Wild dogs and hyenas are natural enemies on the grasslands, and the tension was palpable as their eyes met. The hyena was nearly twice Solo's size. Any other wild dog might have fled in fear, but Solo was no ordinary dog. Instead of panicking, it felt a surge of excitement. Perhaps due to its loneliness, Solo took the initiative to greet the hyena. This move left the hyena bewildered, unsure of Solo's intentions. Solo then pressed its nose against the hyena's, a gesture inviting alliance. To Solo's surprise, the hyena agreed to the partnership, following Solo obediently and clearly recognizing it as the leader. Learning that Solo was homeless, the hyena warmly invited it to her home. Normally, wild dogs intruding into hyena territories would be attacked, but Solo passed through unhindered. It turned out that this hyena was no ordinary creature. She was the beloved daughter of the hyena queen, a position of great influence. With the hyena princess as an ally, Solo felt unafraid even among the surrounding fierce African hyenas. After all, it was now part of royalty. Hyenas' social structure and habits were similar to those of wild dogs. They lived in family units, and perhaps this could become Solo's new home. Soon, Solo fully integrated into the hyena clan, even assisting them in hunts. However, despite the queen's status, Solo remained unafraid and even openly seized food from lower-ranking hyenas. The bullied hyenas dared not retaliate, only watching helplessly as their meals were taken. Clearly, Solo had risen to a mid-level leadership position within the hyena hierarchy. Although it now had ample food and had become a minor leader, Solo was not content with its current life among the hyenas. It longed to have its own army. To achieve this goal, Solo resolutely left the hyena territory. In the early stages of building its own force, Solo needed loyal followers. Just when Solo was at a loss, a family of adorable jackals appeared. Observing the happy scene of the jackal family, Solo felt a deep yearning and decided to recruit them. In less than half a day, the jackals all bowed to Solo, clearly recognizing it as their leader. This move left the hyena princess nearby utterly stunned. Thus, Solo's team was officially established, transforming from a homeless dog into the boss of the grasslands. At this moment, the new recruits were busy celebrating the founding of their new company. In the following period, people often saw this unique team on the grasslands. A wild dog leading a hyena, followed by a group of chattering jackals, a rare sight indeed. Despite their complex composition, this team worked remarkably well together. Before each mission, the jackals would act as vanguards, creating disturbances, while the hyenas provided support. Solo would seize the opportunity to approach the target and launch surprise attacks. Wild dogs are not only known for their endurance, but also their impressive speed, reaching up to 60 km/h when sprinting. Once targeted, even the agile antelope couldn't escape. After each successful hunt, Solo would share most of the prey with its subordinates, keeping only a small portion for itself. Such a considerate leader was truly endearing. The happiest were the jackals, who, as the grassland scavengers, had always subsisted by scavenging leftovers. They had never experienced such feasts. The young jackals regarded Solo as their godmother, wagging their tails excitedly whenever they saw it. This scene also awakened Solo's maternal instincts. She even offered to regurgitate her food to the jackal. In normal times, this would have been impossible, but now it is happening. This act of motherhood made Solo feel reborn. However, without a true pack, she might never become a real mother. Time passed, and Solo's alliance had been established for 3 months. This interspecies group had an incredible effect. The blackbuck was Solo's main prey, but they were completely unalert to the small hyenas, giving Solo, who mingled with the large herd, the opportunity to fish in troubled waters. She could approach her prey more easily, greatly improving her hunting success rate. Since joining Solo, the hyenas no longer had to endure hunger, and they regarded Solo as a deity. To repay their leader's kindness, the hyenas transformed into scouts, standing guard 24/7 for Solo. Hyenas are highly vigilant, always issuing warnings when lions are nearby. Solo no longer had to be on edge, and this weary wild dog could finally sleep soundly. As the seasons changed, the marshland began to dry up. At this time, Solo was nearly 2 years old, and her body underwent a remarkable change. She went into heat, a sign of reaching maturity. Solo's subsequent actions nearly blew my mind. Without any companions of her kind, she actually started a romantic relationship with a young hyena. She tried to entice him into mating. Realizing the situation, the young hyena quickly fled. They were not even the same species, and this unnatural affection was doomed to fail. To reproduce, Solo had to return to a wild dog pack. However, finding her kind in this vast land was no easy task. Time flew by, and the young hyenas began to reach adulthood. They no longer needed protection, and Solo knew it was time to leave. The hyenas gathered to bid farewell to their godmother. Despite her deep reluctance, Solo chose to turn and leave. The hyenas would soon form their own families, and Solo had to seek her own future. Thus, Solo departed from the alliance she had built, embarking on a new and uncertain path filled with challenges. However, lions were not the only danger in the grasslands. Another formidable big cat, the leopard, also roamed these territories. Solo inadvertently entered a leopard's domain, a powerful creature twice her size. In such a scenario, Solo had little chance of winning. Expecting an imminent confrontation, Solo was surprised when the leopard, perhaps deterred by Solo's fearless demeanor, retreated to a tree. Solo stood beneath, barking defiantly. The leopard, stunned by Solo's audacity, had never encountered such a bold, wild dog. After leaving the leopard's territory, Solo charged ahead, only to accidentally enter a group of banded mongooses' domain. Though small, these creatures were exceptionally fierce and highly territorial. Engrossed in her journey, Solo failed to notice she was being tailed. By the time she realized, she was ensnared in their ambush and had no choice but to flee. It had indeed been a busy and eventful day. The next morning, Solo captured a young antelope calf. Before she could enjoy her breakfast, a band of hyenas appeared, drawn by the scent. These were not the hyenas she knew. Seeing their numbers, Solo reluctantly abandoned her meal and retreated. However, a more formidable group of predators soon emerged. Lions and hyenas are natural enemies, and a gang war was inevitable. Unfortunately, Solo found herself caught in the middle. As the lions roared, the battle officially began, and Solo seized the opportunity to slip away unnoticed. She had no interest in the conflict and preferred to stay out of it. Perhaps driven by fear of the lions, Solo ran for 2 hours non-stop. She only stopped when she recognized a familiar scene ahead, a white termite mound that awakened memories of her childhood home. However, this place now had new occupants, a hyena couple and their 4 one-month-old pups. Seeing the young hyenas, Solo's maternal instincts were once again stirred. She attempted to approach them, but the hyena father reacted aggressively, barking loudly to chase her away. Clearly, they did not welcome her presence, likely due to the wild dog's reputation for potentially harming hyena pups. The pups, curious yet cautious, peeked out from their den, but retreated back inside upon noticing Solo. She waited by the entrance for a long time, hoping they would come out. When they didn't, she decided to hunt instead. Taking advantage of her absence, the hyena parents quickly ushered their pups back into the safety of the den, still wary of Solo's intentions. The next morning, Solo was already waiting near the den when the pups emerged. This time, the hyena parents didn't notice her presence. Solo seized the chance to sneak closer. Before the hyena mother could react, Solo acted swiftly. Driven by a nearly obsessive desire to nurture, Solo decided to take over the role of caregiver. She chased the hyena parents away and took control of the den's entrance. The frantic hyena couple could do nothing but watch as Solo moved their pups into the den, ensuring they couldn't escape. Over the following days, Solo devoted herself to caring for the pups. She hunted diligently to provide food, spending more time than ever ensuring they were well fed. In her eyes, these pups were like her own children, and she was determined to protect and raise them as her own. Although wild dogs and jackals are genetically distant relatives, Solo's behavior is unprecedented. However, on this vast plain, Solo isn't the only one interested in other creatures' offspring. A hungry hyena has also set its sights on jackal pups. Unlike Solo, this hyena shows no mercy. Given the chance, it would devour the pups without hesitation. To protect the young ones, Solo charges forward recklessly. This action is purely instinctive. Despite its smaller size compared to the hyena, Solo's unwavering determination to guard the pups fills it with fearlessness. It continuously bares its sharp teeth, warning the hyena to stay away. Confused by this unexpected resistance, the hyena can't fathom why a wild dog would risk so much for jackals. Seeing Solo steadfastly guarding the den, the hyena eventually retreats. The next day, the jackal couple, having been forced to take a day off, return. No parent would easily relinquish their children. This time, they're prepared. The jackal father distracts Solo, while the jackal mother sneaks to the den entrance to nurse the pups. Perhaps displeased with Solo's actions, the jackal father grumbles throughout, staying by the den for 2 consecutive days. Solo is exhausted, but the jackal parents don't grant it rest, maintaining their vigil. On the 3rd day, both sides remain locked in a stalemate. Continuing this way isn't a viable solution, so the jackal parents decide to change tactics. At this point, Solo is utterly fatigued and soon falls asleep. The jackal pups seize the opportunity, emerging from the den and scampering away with their mother. When Solo awakens, it finds itself alone, once again a solitary wild dog. After all, other people's children are never truly one's own. Solo was lying on the ground, completely exhausted. It really needed to rest. After that, Solo disappeared for a while. Nobody knew where it went. Soon after Solo left, the jackal family came back to this place. They started living the happy life Solo had always wanted. But then, something changed again. That same hyena showed up. Ever since it found the baby jackals before, it had always wanted to get them. Now, there wasn't much food on the grassland, and the young jackals became a valuable food source. Seeing its babies in danger, the jackal dad decided to attack first, but the hyena's skin was too tough. The jackal dad's attacks were like little scratches. Once they fought face to face, the jackal dad had no chance against the hyena. Just at that moment, a familiar figure appeared. It turned out Solo had never gone far away. It had been quietly watching the little jackals all along. Now that the jackal family was in trouble, Solo decided to stop hiding. It rushed in like a superhero. Solo joining the fight immediately changed things. It was like an angry mother, fiercely attacking the hyena. And this time, the jackal parents helped too. The unlucky hyena was beaten badly again and ran away in a mess. After this big lesson, maybe it wouldn't dare to cause trouble again anytime soon. Being sincere always works. Solo not only won this fight, but also earned the jackal family's respect. They no longer rejected Solo. The jackal mom even came up to Solo and officially asked it to join them. Solo had always been the one asking to join before. This was the first time it had ever been invited. After that, Solo lived with the jackal family. They became inseparable, like family. They would hunt together and even rest together. Now Solo just quietly watched the little ones play, instead of being obsessed with owning them like before. Statistics show that usually less than 20% of jackal pups survive, meaning typically only one pup from a litter lives. But now, with Solo's protection, these 4 lucky little ones might all grow up. Everyone hoped for peaceful days, but the harsh savannah is never calm. One day, there was lightning and thunder, and Solo became very excited. It went alone to face the storm, looking into the distance as if something was guiding it. With heavy rain, the Okavango Delta became lively, and many new, tasty neighbors migrated there, including a group Solo had longed for. A large pack of wild dogs was coming, but their arrival could be a disaster for the jackal family. As they moved, the wild dogs smelled Solo's scent. Perhaps Solo's fate would change in a few hours, but a more immediate danger arrived. A lioness was approaching. One of the little jackals was exposed. Solo sensed the danger and stepped forward again, even though it was most afraid of lions. Barking loudly, it used itself as bait, successfully leading the dangerous predators away. After reaching safety, Solo even remembered to warn the jackals about the danger, once again protecting its family with bravery and smarts. Night began to fall, and the wild dog pack was still moving towards Solo, now only a few kilometers away. Their calls echoed across the empty savannah, soon reaching Solo's ears. Of course, Solo knew it was the sound of its own kind. After years of loneliness, its solitary life was finally about to end. Solo was thrilled. Happiness was within reach. However, unexpectedly, it stopped and moved in the opposite direction. The wild dog pack was too large for Solo to handle alone. If it was discovered, the wild dogs might stay, putting the jackal family in danger. To protect its allies, Solo made a very difficult decision. By the next morning, the wild dog pack was gone, and Solo had returned to the jackal's den. Perhaps this wasn't its final home, but Solo didn't plan to leave before its adopted pups grew up. Although the video is ending, Solo's story is far from over. Maybe in the near future, it will find its own partner and start its own family. But at least for now, its soul is no longer alone.